Back to our top story, Wits University students are outside the home of the institution's Vice-Chancellor. They vow to continue protesting until all their demands are met. Our reporter, Pule Letshwiti-Jones, is there and joins us now. Hi, Pule. Just talk to us. Have the students arrived at the Vice-Chancellor's house? What is the plan of action now? What are they going to do once they've arrived?
Hello?
Well, these are live visuals coming to us from outside the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Wits home. Earlier we heard from the SRC president and stating that they are unhappy with the Wits management and also the Vice-Chancellor, and for that reason they have now decided to march from the Braamfontein campus to outside the home of their Vice-Chancellor. We do have our reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones on the ground, and we will be engaging with him shortly just to find out what is happening there on the ground. But earlier we heard from the SRC president, and he stated that education is not a privilege, it is indeed a right, and for that reason they want all of their demands met. Some of their demands that the president of the SRC mentioned was that students must register no matter how much debt they still owe the university. Also asking that 1,000 beds be made available because a lot of students are without accommodation and some of them have been sleeping in the library. Also that pupils or students need to graduate no matter how much they are still owing the university. And they also asked for data because they say that not all of them have access to Wi-Fi. Now, some of those demands have been met, but the students and the SRC still are unhappy that others have not been met. The president stating that the 10,000 Rand upfront payment will be waived. He did say that the university had met them on that demand, and also that the university will make data available for all of the students, and that one of the demands that it was not met was that registration of all students despite their codes. So there is a lot of unhappiness from the students and the SRC, and like I mentioned earlier, this is the reason why they now have made their way to the Vice-Chancellor's home. We heard from some of the students, and now our reporter really engaging with them and asking them, if they are comfortable with walking and marching to the Vice-Chancellor's home at this hour, and the president of the SRC saying that the university security would be accompanying them. I'm not sure if the university security did that, but as we can see by these visuals, they have now made their way to the Vice-Chancellor's home. They marched from the Braamfontein campus of the University of Wits to the Vice-Chancellor's home. Well, it seems a statement has been released here, and if I just briefly read through it, it says it's unacceptable to march to the Vice-Chancellor's house where he stays with his family and threatens to burn it down. We actually heard one of those students make that threat earlier. We condemn all forms of violence and implore the students and student leaders and all other parties to exercise maximum restraint. This is a statement released by Sharona Patel, who is the Wits spokesperson. And Wits responded in detail to 13 major demands of the SRC related to historic debt, accommodation, data provision, suspensions and late registrations. Let's see now if we can chat to our reporter, Pule Letshwiti-Jones, who is on the ground. Pule, I'm hoping that you can hear me this time around. Have the students made their way to the Vice-Chancellor's home? What's happening on the ground?
Definitely. Well, the students have arrived and they're currently now outside the Vice-Chancellor's home. And one thing in particular we've actually received now from the institution, of course, through the spokesperson Sharona Patel, is a response which they said it is unacceptable for the students to march to the Vice-Chancellor's house where he stays with his family and threaten to burn it down. The institution, of course, has condemned all forms of violence and implored the students and student leaders and all other parties to exercise maximum restraint. That's the response from the institution. And they also allude to the fact that they had responded in detail to 13 major demands of the SRC related to historic debt, accommodation, data provision, suspensions, and of course late registrations. And the institution says where they could make concessions, they had. And of course this follows the concessions already made in February. But also through the spokesperson, the university says unfortunately that's all. There has been some issues that they have rejected, and the SRC, who have instead chosen to march to the Vice Chancellor's house, has not negotiated in bad faith to speak to them. And on your screen you can see right now these are students here who've marched in their numbers to the Vice Chancellor's house, demanding that he steps outside and address them. At first it felt as though the president really wasn't being taken serious, but he's commanded the students all the way to the Vice Chancellor's house, and the address is currently taking place. I'm just going to ask my colleague Noko Malachi if we can move forward and just try to get a closer image of what they're currently saying, because where we are currently, we're stationed a few meters away from where they're currently addressing the students, and I'm just going to kindly excuse, I say apologies for the shaky visuals, just so we can get a bit of live reaction of what is being said here, because the president is currently addressing the students here right now, and I'm just going to get a sense of what currently is being said by Pule Letshwiti-Jones, who's the SRC president.
The VC must come out, get Great Piazza and address us. Now we are going to Great Piazza to meet the VC, then address us.
Just give us an update. What is the way forward here?
No, the VC has agreed to meet with us. So we are meeting the VC right now at 11 o'clock. So when we arrived here, we were told that the VC is not here. The VC is in campus. So the VC has pleaded with us to say we must go, and he must go. He's giving us an ear. So as an SRC, as we have said, we are open to engagement. Hence, we are saying to our people here, we are going to campus and we are going to listen to what the VC has for us as an SRC.
Shirona Patel, spokesperson of the institution, has condemned you guys coming here. What's your remarks on that?
We said we are coming here so that we must have the VC's attention, and we have fulfilled this purpose. Hence, we are moving our masses back to campus to listen to the VC.
Do you think this was a futile exercise now that you came here and the Vice Chancellor is not here?
I don't think this was a futile exercise, because we came here because we want to see the VC, and the VC has agreed to see us. So I think this exercise, as you have said, it will be peaceful, and it has been peaceful, and it has achieved its goal. Hence we are moving to campus.
Who's going to be part of this meeting?
I don't know, we'll see there, but the VC is there. That's who we want. He makes the decision. I think, and the Dean of Students.
Did he tell you what he wants to talk about?
No, he said he wants to give us an ear, but he knows the demands. So we must be discussing the demands, nothing else.
Right. And just give us a bit of sense here before you go up here. Currently, you're here stationed outside right now. Does this mean if the VC does not respond to your demands, tomorrow again the protest will continue with other institutions, including the University of Johannesburg?
Indeed, you saw UJ's President Xolisi Manana. He has pledged support with us. So if the VC does not give us what we want in this meeting at 11 o'clock, the protest will continue peacefully, but in the more intensified level. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you very much. That's the President of Pule Letshwiti-Jones addressing us, currently saying that they will be meeting the Vice Chancellor, who they say is currently on campus. It seems as though there may be another meeting taking place late into the late evening as well, where they will discuss what is the way forward. But of course, residents are now walking back to campus, and they will be getting feedback as to what goes on. But from here onwards, what we understand is that that meeting, of course, will determine whether the protest tomorrow takes place, Abigail. This has been about just 4 days long, just this week, and it seems as though if no negotiations are met, we could be entering into the 5th day of protest, which has been taking place by the students. Of course, the university said it has tried by all means to address their demands, but it seems as though the institution and the frustrated SRC are not seeing eye to eye. Here are the visuals currently on your screen, where visuals are currently singing, where students rather currently singing, and they'll be making their way back to campus.
Pule, earlier you did ask the leadership of the SRC questions around the safety of these students. I mean, it's almost 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, and there are quite a big group of students. Did you see any of the security detail that the SRC president mentioned would be accompanying and walking with the students? Is there a safety and security in place?
No, definitely not. I haven't seen security as well. Let me just probably grab Sasko to speak to us currently. Belly, come and join me. Just you representing Sasko, but take us through this. What have you achieved by coming here tonight?
Okay, so we are here because we want the VC to come and address us. We've been going to management as students, wanting the VC to come down and address issues that are affecting students. So today the VC has already responded, so we're going there because he responded. So we have achieved our goal because the Vice Chancellor has responded. That is all that we wanted. We want the Vice Chancellor to come and address students. Yep.
Take us through the suspensions. Have they been lifted? Have they been reversed? Are some of you guys still suspended?
We'll wait until they sit with the VC. We'll hear the outcome after the VC addresses us. So for now, nothing is not yet confirmed. So we shall go and hear what the VC says. That's when we'll all know.
Right. Who's escorting you guys back to campus? Because I didn't see private security on your way when you guys came here.
There is SAP. There's also police that are escorting us.
Thank you very much. Of course, that's Pele, who is representing SASCO as well, saying that there will be escorted by private security. On our way here, we didn't see the private security they're speaking about, but of course we did see members of the SAPS who are monitoring the situation, Abigail, to ensure it doesn't spiral out of control. I can say we have just about 250 students who've made their way here outside the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital, which is of course across the Parktown campus, where next to it is the Vice Chancellor's home. And of course the university has condemned that move whereby students were seen marching to the Vice Chancellor's home this evening.
Just lastly, Pule, we have now got an update that obviously the crowd will be moving back to campus. And do we have a detail as to whether the Vice-Chancellor will be engaging and speaking to the crowd directly, or will this be a closed-door meeting with the SRC leadership?
Well, look, what we understand right now is that there isn't any sense of clarity whether who the Vice-Chancellor will be speaking to. But obviously the most responsible thing to do would be to speak to the SRC, which of course has met with some of the executives of the Wits management as well. So one would assume that the Vice-Chancellor will be meeting with the SRC this evening to try and pave a way forward. We are told he's currently on campus and therefore has of course requested to meet the president, who I believe will be followed by his delegation of the 21-member SRC committee, which of course will be speaking to him this evening. That's the way forward. The institution seems they don't want to have any of this situation spiraling out of control tomorrow, but most importantly their reputation being dented down the road, and therefore hence why they've requested for this meeting where they will try and map a way forward.
Pule, we know that some of the demands that the SRC leadership has put forward has been met by the management of the university. Let's just recap some of those demands, which of them have been met and which are still unattended.
Well, it seems as though the institution has met the demands, which include having students have access to Wi-Fi, and therefore there was talk around how the institution will then lift the suspension of those students who've been suspended. However, the demands of having to scrap historical debt are still something which the institution does not believe will happen currently. And of course, the accommodation issue is something the institution cannot meet at this particular moment. Speaking now is also Lee Hep, who's part of the SRC at Wits. Let's just take a listen to what she has to say.
We are told that the VC is at main campus right now. And now, listen to me, comrades. Our own SRC has confirmed that he's waiting for us at CB8. Hey, you're too close, my brother. What's this? It has been confirmed that the Vice Chancellor is at main campus. Now, what we need to do is we move together in song and ensure that while the SRC is inside negotiating, he knows that we are waiting outside for a positive response. So if we are able to move together in unison and ensure that we fetch him from main campus, if that's the case, it will be more effective. Can you please go? Amanda! Amanda! Can you please go, comrades?
All right, Abigail, that's Lisa Sibatre, who is part of the Wits SRC committee instructing students to go back. It seems as though they will be making their way back to campus where they will be meeting the Wits SRC. When we asked the president whether do they believe this was a futile exercise, they said no. So it seems as though some students are actually frustrated and angry, saying they are now going to sleep because them marching here has not yielded any results. And therefore, they were hoping to meet the Vice Chancellor, but that has not happened. But to answer your question, the SRC may be speaking to the Vice Chancellor currently right now. But notice one thing here. The Wits EFFSC, of course, Student Command Council, has not made their way here. They have taken a different posture. In fact, it seems as though these students are divided currently based on political affiliation. Most of those supporting the EFF, and of course the EFF leadership, says they will continue with their own direct protest tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. I can also give a latest update right now. We understand University of TUT Soshanguve campus will be embarking on a protest tomorrow, shut down as well, followed by the University of Johannesburg, then Wits. So this protest here has had a ripple effect on the way as to how other institutions respond as well. So it'll be quite interesting to see how these dynamics unfold from tomorrow morning.
Indeed. Pule, thank you very much for the update. Let's leave it there for tonight. Our reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones coming to us live from underground outside of the Vice Chancellor's home. Students from Wits University and their SRC leadership made their way to the Vice Chancellor's home to ask him to meet their demands. The Vice Chancellor was not there. They are now moving back towards the main campus. Our reporter there just giving us the latest details with regards to that ongoing negotiations. The latest details there that the SRC leadership will now meet with the Vice Chancellor and continue discussions. But that's where we leave Newsnight for tonight. From myself, Abigail Fasahi, and the team, thank you very much